Well, hello, and welcome back to Fair Life with Andrew McKee. I am Andrew McKee. Yeah, it makes it easy to remember that with the title. So, yes, wow, it was a crazy week as always, and the weekend was tiring but fun. I'm still a little hoarse, so I apologize about that. Yeah, I'm a little congested, but I'm starting to get there. And hey, Harvey and Kurt and Kevin and Lisa, and thanks for joining. It is still a bit crazy at the Louisiana Ren Fair. Very crowded, huge crowds every weekend, every day, and it's yeah. I mean, I the last couple of years have been kind of like that, but they've really upped it this year. Partly because they've really done a good job with organizing the parking and the traffic flow and all of that. It's been very good. So yeah, I mean it's because I remember a couple of years ago it kind of took them by surprise how many people and how many parking problems they had. So it's good that they fixed that. But it was a crazy weekend for sure. Definitely a bit on the busy side. Yeah, sound wise, I am still working on the sound, and it kind of has created a weird sort of problem because, well, a couple of years ago when I started doing sound at Louisiana and being in charge of the sound at all the different stages, helping out with that. Well, I mean, the first day was really rough. Kind of the first weekend, kind of making sure everybody was set up and there were no problems. But after that, it wasn't too bad. And then last year, I did an even better job of mainly spending half of the first day on Saturday, getting everybody set up, and then after that, not many problems at all. I mean, a couple of little issues when a new musician would come in halfway through, or a new performer, but generally not too bad. But I've started to see, oh, Kurt, yeah, okay, good. You're going to be out on Sunday. Well, I'll see you there. Nice, cool. Uh, but yeah, I've started to see a problem that. No, you're not the problem. You're not the problem, Steve. Uh, I think the problem really is time, because a lot of the infrastructure, the sound systems, the PA systems they have out there are starting to get past the 10-year-old mark. And when you have equipment that's mostly outdoors for 10 years, you're asking a lot. So some of it is starting to fail in subtle ways. Sometimes it's a wiring or cable issue. Sometimes an amp just is fluctuating a little bit with power. Yeah, it is. It's starting to need some upgrades. Is really what it's boiling down to. So this year has kind of forced me to do a lot more work to try to fix problems as opposed to just set up. So it's been a lot more work this year. But that being said, it's kind of allowed me to take a serious look at some of that infrastructure, and I think in the next couple of years they're going to. I suspect they're going to start upgrading a lot of that, and I'll hopefully be there to help. So it should help a lot of things. Yeah, it's stages got switched around a little bit this year, so it was a little nuts. No, oh, hello, Sarit and Kathy. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting weekend. Whew. Let's just say at one point I brought in my own sound system for one of the stages and just set that up because in the long run it was easier than trying to rearrange stuff, and I was happy to do it. It just yeah, definitely a thing. And hey, Janine, thanks for joining. Uh, Other thing is I've upgraded my own sound systems a little bit. I've got a few new mics, and I also have a new wireless pack. Yay! Yes, that's right, Sennheiser G4. For those keeping score. So I like it. That just came in, and I'll probably try that out a little bit this weekend. Just check it out. I don't really set myself up on a PA, but I'm still going to try it out. because even if I have to let somebody else use it just to try it out because I'm curious. I've gone over the manual because I'm that guy. I actually read the manual, and we're going to try it out and see how if I can optimize those settings and make it go. So just do a good job with it. It should be a lot of fun. I am looking forward to that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's sort of the thing. It's you get the new toys to play with, and I mean, generally, my old system was a little on the generic side, and it kind of worked. And for the small stages I was at, generally was okay. The main problem I had with it was it didn't really provide enough gain for the microphones. And since I like to use a hat mic where I put the lavalier mic up here in my hat, so it focuses down. It's not a headset mic that comes right out right in front of my mouth. It needs a little more gain, and I pretty much have to boost the gain on the mixer to max almost to get a decent sound. And it was really pushing on what it could do. So I'm hoping this will take care of that. So that's kind of the goal. Yeah. Luckily, the weather so far this season at Louisiana has been very good. Not too many problems. A little on the hot side, surprisingly, for November, but still, yeah, still very nice. So, yeah, we'll see how the last 2 weekends go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this because this is going to be the 3-day weekend, and it's always a hoot. Friday, in the past, the Friday, Black Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving at Faire was never that well attended. I mean, it was always kind of a dead day. There'd be some people who would show up, but it wasn't that many. It was fractionally, I'd probably say maybe a 25% of the normal Saturday crowd would get on Friday at best, sometimes even less. But the last several years, that has changed. It is a lot of people come out on Friday too. It kind of has surprised me, but they've done a good job with marketing that. So I'll give them a lot of credit on that. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's generally how it, like I said, how it was at Louisiana. But for some reason, the last few years, I'd say 3 or 4 years, it's been very hit. I mean, that could just be a very wide trend, and that might change. We'll see. But considering they're selling out every Saturday so far, doing a lot of, I mean, really good crowds every weekend, maybe that's part of it. Maybe that whole process of pushing that, capping the amount of tickets they sell and approaching it that way so that there's more fervor to try to get your tickets ahead of time and make sure you show up. Maybe that has helped push that. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, yeah, right. Oh, how did they fix the parking issue? Well, they added more parking. They really expanded the several parking lots and just they, they they came up with some creative plate spots for some overflow parking in different areas. I mean, I don't know all the details. Honestly, that's not exactly my area, but just from what I've seen, they added more parking areas. Some just like literally cutting down a whole bunch of trees and making a parking lot out of something that wasn't there before, and some adding some parking in the back area, and it was creative, and some of it was adding an extra 10 parking spots here, adding an extra 50 parking spots there. I mean, but it all adds up, and that was the difference. I think that kind of helped. And they have a really good crew out there that handle parking. That they do that all day long, and they've really expanded. I've seen they've expanded that a lot. They have more people working it and doing a really good job with that. So I think that combined has helped. Yeah, I know the whole crowds thing on Friday. Yeah, it is interesting. What you do is you build a fair, and the first, if you make it past 5 years, it's just, this is amazing. I never expected this to happen. And you make it past 10, and you've really got to upgrade your infrastructure, and you do your best, but eventually you run out of land because there's no more around you. I mean, your neighbors don't want to sell, or the land has become too far too valuable to buy. And it's partly your fault because of the success of the fair. The land value has risen to go along with it. You start to back yourself into a corner, and you can't grow much more, at least not easily. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, scanning parking plates. I I don't license plates. No, I haven't. They haven't done that from what I'm aware of. But I wouldn't put it past them. They've done stuff like that. So you never know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You always think, oh, I've got plenty, but when you start getting into tens of thousands of people in the day, yeah, you never expect to get there. You never really do. Uh, yeah, it is a crazy dilemma to be in. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of the weird problem. I expansion, and of course, if you happen to own a ton of land, or your neighbors, eventually you kind of, since the fair grows up, they kind of get sick of it and they want to sell their land to you just to leave and get out of there because it's very annoying dealing with all of the people around there during the fair season. I mean, that you can make that work, but uh, even weirder than the land for the site is also the infrastructure. I mean, the roads to get there, unless you happen to be right next to an interstate. I mean, usually you have to go off and go down a side road and a back road and do all this stuff. I mean, it can get crazy. It can get crazy. Um, yeah, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Um, that's it gets out of hand, and you really, luckily, I think, uh, as long as you're willing to invest the time and the money, you can have a good crew and organize everything really well. But I think capping it with, we can only sell these many tickets, has helped the fair in multiple ways. You can, it, it keeps it from getting out of hand, so that you have the infrastructure and the parking and everything worked out, and it's not overwhelming. But it also builds that fervor where people, that it becomes an exclusive event where there's a limited number of tickets available, and they keep selling out. So you need to get that ticket. And what's been happening is they sell out on Saturday. So people that were going to go on Saturday, well, okay, I'll go on Sunday. I wasn't going to, but I will. And then Sunday, which is normally a lot less people than Saturday, sometimes half, suddenly becomes almost as many people as the Saturday. And it's really evened out the spread. And it's been a very good thing. I was very skeptical at first, but I've come to realize it was the right move. It really has. Right. That's exactly. Yeah, sometimes you have to get with the county to upgrade upgrade the roads and work on it, and sometimes they would expect you to help pay for it because it is it's a thing. It is a thing. And yeah, I knew you meant Ren. Instead of 10, I caught that. I did. So I figured everybody else would. So you're good. Don't worry. Don't worry. But yeah, so it is interesting. It kind of, I think I need to start um, a new segment on Fair Life called Quo Vadimus. Where are we going? Because it's really, it's interesting to see where fairs are going now. There seems to be a trend. Oh wow, really? New toll road goes right to TRF? That's with the prices of tickets, I figured it'd practically be a toll road already. But okay, sure. Oh, okay. Right. That's very true, Steve. Yeah. Crowd management. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what I meant by keeping it in line. But it's not just for parking. You're right. It's also inside the fair because sometimes it would get a little overwhelming. People tend to gravitate to certain sections of the fair, and you'd have some shows or like the joust or whatever would just get packed and it'd be crazy. But that kind of kept it a little more spread out and even. And that is one thing fairs try to do every year. Believe it or not, one of the ways that the entertainment directors make the schedule is based on who's there and what times they set, is to try to direct where people walk during the day so that they don't all stay in one section. They all spread out, and it's as widely spread out during the fair throughout the day as much as they can. It's not just for the performers, it's also for the vendors, so that everybody, that they get a good equal flow. Because when you have too many people at a shop, well, maybe they'll just move on to the next shop and won't give your shop a fair look. So yeah, if you even it out as much as you can, it helps them too. So yeah, a lot of thought really goes into it. Oh wow, yeah, going for the whole exclusivity thing. I like that. That that might be where it's going. You're not really, if they haven't tried it yet, I'm sure somebody will do this. They have those special events that fairs sometimes throw, and that might come to that. Well, now, I'll talk a little bit about this during the fair list too. But one thing I've been noticing is the fall festival trend. And what they've been doing is you'll have a fair, your regular seasonal fair run, and then you do a holiday festival, whether it's a Yule festival or a Dickens festival or something at the fair site. And it's getting a little weird because, well, like Scarborough just finished their Scarborough's Hallow, which was several weekends in October, November. But they're normally a spring fair, so it's kind of going the opposite season. But what's going on now is you're getting these Yule festivals, Christmas festivals, like in Pennsylvania and Ohio, which they just finished their fair. As their fair goes from like August, September, October kind of thing, depending on which one. And so they're finishing at the end of October. Then you kind of take most of November off, clean up, decorate it for Christmas or Dickens or whatever, and then you boom, do several more weeks of fair. So with Pennsylvania, for instance, they're an 11 weekend fair, one of the largest, the most weekends in the country, and they finally figured out how to expand that. They just have to skip a few weekends in between. Several years ago, they tried doing like a 16 weekend fair and making it 16, and it failed miserably. It just did not work. They had dead weekends. It didn't, from what I understand, it just did not work. They backed off from that immediately, and they're back at 11 now. So what they figured out is we'll stop the fair, clean up, take a few days off and get some sleep and do decorating for a few weeks and fix infrastructure, and then boom, do 3 or 4 more weekends of fair. So for them, yeah, for them now, and in my mind, they're a 14 weekend fair now because of that's just with a few weeks off in the middle. So it was, they've done it for a few years. This is the 3rd year, and it's done very well. So I think it's here to stay. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, some. I'll put it that way. From what I can tell, some. They do have a few performers that stay, and I'm sure a lot of the vendors do. The vendors probably stick around for the most part, but it is more of a Dickens event. So much so, I was tempted not to put it in the fair list because it's not so much Renaissance based. They lean heavily on the Christmas theme, and they Victorian era kind of thing with clothing and the like. So I think some of the groups and performers, they probably bring a few of those in as well. But some of them, I'm sure, stick around. Right, right. Yeah, but this particular one, from what I read, it's its third year doing that. The first time they did this particular event, the Yuletide at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair, was 2023. So they might have tried a few others, but it's yeah, it is interesting. Right? Yeah. They said that last year they were selling out weekends. So it has gotten very huge. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It is. I think that's the way they're going. Fairs are starting. Ah, okay. So that's what it used to be. I think fairs are just looking for that off season so that they can, because when you own the land, it's just sitting there, and you're just paying the property tax and paying some of the money for infrastructure and all of that in the off season and not bringing any in. So I see the view, but there's always that fear you're going to dilute the brand. So it's not going to seem as special if it's spread out throughout the year. But doing different themes, they found a way to do that. So it is kind of interesting. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Good, bad? Or do you think it's a good route to go, or do you not think it's a, um, do you think it, do you wish they just stuck with Ren Fair and didn't do anything else? I'm just curious because it is very different. Um, I mean, there have been attempts to do off-season stuff. I know Sherwood has always tried to do some monthly events where they'll have a sort of a Rennie get together once a month at the site, but it's very loose. It's not like bunches of entertainers or the fair being open. It's just more like people going out there and camping and having fun around a campfire kind of thing. It's not the fair being open. So this is pretty different, but it seems to be a trend, and I mean, and you're right. I've seen it for, yeah, it's been about 10, 15 years since they started dabbling in that kind of thing. But in the last few years, I've seen it's like every fair wants to get in on this. Mm. So yeah, 2012ish for that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it could be a way to appeal to a wider audience, although they've been doing a pretty good job with that already. I mean, the themes, the weekend themes and everything, they've kind of backed away from concentrating on the Renaissance. Now it's all magic and wizards and Harry Potter, and I mean, they don't call it that, but that's what it is. Time travel and steampunk, and I mean, they're more like a sci-fi fantasy convention. They're trying to be like Renaissance and Comic Con at the same time. So I guess I guess it is a little more of a wider audience when you go Christmas. But hey, if it worked for the Hallmark Channel, I get it. Uh, oh, okay. So for you, it's like an alternative if you can't make the fair for whatever reason because of schedule or in your case sold out. This is a way to make it to the fair at a different time of year. Okay, so I get that. Okay, okay, yeah, I see that. So yeah, I see that. You could, and that's kind of what I worry about the whole diluting it. I mean, with if you're the whole jack of all trades, master of none concept, where it's you're doing a little bit of everything, but nothing, not any one thing is phenomenally great, and that's the worry. I'm not saying that they've done that, but down the road, I'm worried about that. Oh, and no, I don't have anything against magic, but latching on to Harry Potter, um, and approaching that, it's a choice. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I'm it's because it's not as much as they used to. But several years ago, the themes were so obviously Harry Potter based. I mean, they had events at the fair that were like, sort yourself into a house. I mean, it was very much specific, and that seems a little out of the Renaissance realm in my mind a little, but yeah. So nothing specifically against magic. No, in fact, I'm quite a for magic person. Yeah, yeah, and there are some fairs that do summer camps too. Sherwood is a good example. Um, but yeah, and they've had some success with it. Right, and that's you've got the land, so might as well use it. I totally get that mentality. Yeah. No, not necessarily. It's just, I mean, well, if you've ever been to a sci-fi fantasy convention or some type of convention, um, some people prefer the concentrated conventions, like going to an anime convention uh, versus going to Comic Con. And if you like anime, well, at Comic Con they have a little bit of anime and a lot of everything else. At an anime convention, they have anime, what you love. So it's one of those. Which do you prefer? And back in the day, I've talked to people at conventions that were very adamant about liking anime conventions, but didn't like going to Dragon Con or Comic Con because they had a little anime, but overall, a lot of stuff they weren't interested in. So it's that whole too varied concept. So I mean, I'm that's not to say everybody's like that, and you can't please everyone, but just throwing it out. Renaissance themed holiday event. There we go. Oh God, you might be right. Uh, I mean, I've seen some jousts that were more WWE than jousting, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, and I realize that's the whole expanding out to once again go to a wider audience is popular now. So that doesn't surprise me. Uh, I guess I'm just at. I'm not sure. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, oh, this is a bad thing. What I'm doing is I'm saying, is this a bad thing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I right now I don't think it necessarily is, but I'm trying to take it to where it progresses to. Will it eventually be a bad thing if this continues? That's kind of what I'm trying to ascertain. Yeah, that's kind of it. Something to think about. Oh, that's an interesting take. A super focused convention can be overwhelming because you want to go to everything, but you can't. Huh. Okay, okay. I hadn't thought of it that way, but that's an interesting point. Um, yeah, that can be a little. It's like too concentrated on it. Huh. Huh. Yeah, yeah. I'm hoping to. It's just sort of a what if scenario. Thinking out loud. Uh, those things that make you go, hmm. Oh, and perfectly all right, Jan. You are always allowed. Oh, but yeah, speaking of which, gosh, it's already 7:30. Okay, let's jump over to the fair map here, because yeah, we should do that. Right. Um, here we go. And yay! Ah, I do love my laser pointer. Ah, let's jump into. Oh yeah, and Janine, yeah, saying some fairs will specialize more in their historical era and accuracy, and others will focus more on the themed events. I mean, that's kind of what they used to do. Uh, you had some that were more historically focused, but now those are getting fewer and far between. It's not fair. It's popular to be varied now, so that's kind of what I mean. Um, yeah, and Lisa's saying, yeah, you're probably right. Um, Once again, you go too far one way, and then you go back and correct it back. So yeah, that's probably yeah, Lisa, that's probably the smart way to look at it. I think you might be right on that. Okay, well, let's jump in and start off with Yuletide at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. And we talked about that a little bit, but it's a 3-weekend event. And the theme for the first weekend, I'm not kidding, is Ugly Sweater Weekend. So they're really leaning into the Christmas theme. And yeah, very much so. This is in Manheim, Pennsylvania, on the side of the Pennsylvania Ren Fair. Jumping over to Ohio, we have the also Yuletide Village Season of Lights. And they've been doing that at Ohio since 2020. So about 5 years. And it's in Waynesville, Ohio, at the Ohio Ren Fair site. And they're doing 4 weekends here. So a 4-weekend event. It's not just a... yeah, they're really spreading those out. Back in the day, it used to be just 1 weekend. Like Sherwood, where I'm going to after Louisiana, they have that 1 weekend Celtic Yule festival. But for them, it's a little different. They're not trying to be a Ren Fair. It's an Irish music festival, and that's it. It's very concentrated and very different, just using the land for that. So it is different. I don't know. I'm still trying to process all of that. Jumping down to Sarasota, this is the last weekend of the Sarasota Medieval Fair in Mayaca City. I'm still sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, Florida. And the final weekend theme is St. Nicholas Celebration Weekend. Then jumping over to Louisiana, we have the Louisiana Renaissance Festival in Hammond, Louisiana. And this will be the 5th out of 6 weekends. And I should have mentioned earlier, like some of the other fairs going on, it's a 3-day weekend with Black Friday as well. And the theme is Vikings. So very simple, Vikings. Then at the Texas Renaissance Festival, it's their last weekend coming up, Todd Mission, Texas. And it is 8 out of 8 weekends. And the last weekend theme is Celtic Christmas. So, yeah, I might be biased, but I think that's a good theme. So, yes, very, very, very nice. Definitely like that. Yeah, I know, Drew. 8 weekends and how much other stuff. I totally get you. If it makes you feel better, I've still got 3 more weekends of stuff to do. 2 weekends at Louisiana and the weekend at Sherwood. So, and then I'll be doing 5 straight weekends at the beginning of the year in January and the beginning of February at the Fair of Champions in East Texas. So it could be worse. Just throwing it out. Just throwing it out. Yeah, right? I mean, you always to say about going to fair and people watching. Now it's kind of like you get to go to fair and sweater watch. That's got to be interesting because the creativity. I mean, one thing about fair, it's usually a concentration of creative people. So you're going to get some interesting things. Yes, very good, Drew. Palestine, Texas, Fair of Champions. Yeah. I was there this year as well, so this will be my 2nd year going there. It's pretty nice because it's a very, very small fair, but some of the vendors from the Texas Renaissance Festival go up there just because it's so close, and there's not much else going on at that time of year. It's just it works. Ren Fair evolution. Hmm. Maybe. Maybe. You might be right. It is. It's interesting to see the changes because I've I've been doing this long enough to start to see some trends and some changes and some ebbs and flows. And I wasn't going to fairs in the 80s or 70s or anything. That was a little before my time, but uh, yeah, I kind of I wasn't at the beginning or the kind of the first evolution, but kind of the second explosion in the or maybe it's more than the third actually. Yeah, probably the third explosion in the 90s is when I really got into it. Hey, if you let me know if you want to come out. Yeah, I'll hook you up with comp tickets or something. If you just want to show up and check it out. It is a very small fair. I mean, they usually just get a few hundred people in, um, so it's not it's not very big, but and it can be a little chilly, but they do it right. They have fire pits every like 20 feet or something, and in the roads, and it actually warms it up surprisingly well, more than I would have expected. But I'm of course very southerner, so I'm not used to cold weather. Ooh, evolution for Sherwood Forest. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Ooh. I mean, one thing I'll say about Sherwood, they went to all the fairs in Texas and the surrounding area and learned from them. So they did a lot of things right early on. They studied TRF in Scarborough and Louisiana and many others, and tried to figure out the ins and outs and how they could do a good job, and they did. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one. That is a really good question. I think I might have to come back and say this is the. I might have to give you an answer on next week's show. Because that's a really good question. Where do I think Sherwood is going? Hmm. It just goes full circle, kind of thing. The whole Greek ideal of perfection. Uh, yeah, history always repeats, kind of concept. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I think they will be. It is. Uh, I think the PA systems. I'm gonna have in line. I got a new mic for the joust field because the old mic was having some issues, and so they'll have a new mic and have that set up, so it should be nice and a lot more clear at the joust. I mean, little things like that you just wouldn't expect it to come up, and yeah, it's an interesting responsibility that I take seriously because, well, I mean, everybody out there who's performing, I've kind of been in their shoes at least a little, so I can understand and empathize, and I want to help if I can. Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. The TRF and Sherwood always they never looked at it that way. Um, they never looked at it as competition, not in any way, shape, or form. Other fairs have. I've seen that, but Sherwood, no, no. They were. That's just not the way they roll over there, and I give them a lot of credit for that. So good point, Drew. Very good point. Um, and often that's the way to do it. I mean, there have been some drama situations with fairs um, where they it wasn't just competitive, it was set up to be competitive because people from one fair go and start another one at the same time, not that far away, same time of year. I mean, yeah, that's happened in several states actually for the years. So yeah, sometimes it's not just competitive, it's uh, antagonistic on purpose. It's almost vengeful. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the thing. Uh, Generally, historically, it's always been like at, back before Sherwood came around, it was Scarborough was the spring fair, and uh, TRF was the fall fair when it came to the Texas area. That was the way it went. And then Sherwood came around, and originally it was in February and March, and Scarby was in April and May, so it was like one after the other, so it kind of worked out. But February is a rough month for Texas, temperature-wise, so they did the research and discovered that there wasn't really that much crossover if they moved it to March and April. Uh, it really wouldn't hurt the numbers at all, and people would probably still go to both. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, there were a couple of vendor problems, a couple of entertainer problems, but moving it really didn't have much of an issue. People would go to Sherwood earlier in March, and then when April rolls around, they'd go up to Scarby and do that and enjoy both. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. So I totally agree. Well, anyway, it's 7:42 and it's already late. Wow. Because this is a topic we can talk about a lot. Where Faire's going and what's the best. And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. I haven't really made a decision. I'm trying to figure out what a fair should be, what it shouldn't. Um, it's, yeah, I mean, where fairs are going and where they've been, what, I mean, there is no right or wrong necessarily, but there are choices. And I'm curious which choices I agree with, I guess. So I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. What makes a Ren Fair? So, yeah, I'll be thinking about that over the next few weeks as I go to Ren Fair. So hopefully I'll see some of you out there this weekend, and if not, well, listen to some good Ren Fair music and think fondly of me. Have a good time, relax, enjoy, stay warm if you can, stay dry if possible, and as always, have a fair life. Take care. Bye.